Let's have a little commotion for the hair. My god. Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's me, Titi, aka Slay Coco Bakes, whichever one you prefer. Today I have this pink themed makeup tutorial for you guys, and if you would like to see how I achieve this look, then please keep on watching. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe, and also don't forget to like this video. Also click the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. As always, I will list every product I used in this tutorial in my description box, so make sure to check so you can see the list of all the products that I use. And with that being said, let's jump right into the tutorial, okay? I just got my hair freshly braided less than 24 hours before filming this tutorial, so I was literally suffering and smiling. But I just did my brows off camera. I'm going in with my Plouise base. I've talked about this a lot in previous tutorials. You do not have to use this. You can just use the regular concealer that you use to conceal under your brows, and your eyeshadow will come out just as beautifully. I'm going in with these two palettes, and I'm going in with one shade from each, so I'm just using only two colors. The first one was a Makeup Revolution x Patricia Bright collaboration. I'm pretty sure that palette is discontinued now, but it was really amazing because it was just so pigmented and had an amazing color story. I decided on something pink, and I wanted something a bit subtle. Although this ended up coming off more pigmented than I wanted it to be, I still loved how it turned out. I'm just going with my brush in circular motions, and as you can see, I love to blend my eyeshadows into my brows just because I don't like my concealer showing. That's the concealer that I used to blend under my brows. I'm using just that one pink shade as both my transition and crease color, so it's just like a flush of the same color all over my eyes except my inner lids. I'm going back in without any extra concealer on my concealer brush just to make sure that there is no creasing before going in with my lid color. Now for my lid color, I'm actually using a blush palette. You guys, I've talked previously a lot about Juvia's Paste palettes and how pigmented they are. So this is the volume 2 blush palette, and I love this color because it's just the perfect pink. Like when I think of a baby pink, this is the pink that I think of, and I just love how it looks against the darker pink. Like it just gave me everything I wanted. I'm doing a tight inner liner, which is a liner style I love to do because it makes my eyes look very lifted. Plus, when I go in with my lashes, it's not very visible but gives that feline effect. I'm just going to take my time doing this because I don't want it to go too high. I'm going to smudge this out with a black eyeshadow like I normally do. And also when you're doing this, you want to make sure you're using a small brush, because if you use a brush that is too big, it's going to make it harder for you to control, and it could go way higher and smear into your eyeshadow, which you don't want. I'm going in with this elf putty primer, which I use a lot. I normally just use this under my eyes, on my nose, and my forehead, so my T-zone area, but today I actually use this all over my face. And I know in the previous tutorial I did mention that I don't really think this does anything in terms of minimizing the appearance of my pores, but I know it does something. I just don't know exactly what anyway, but I like it. Sometimes I forget that I'm actually filming a tutorial and not just doing my makeup, which deters me from showing you guys some of the things that I should. I do not advise that you apply your foundation, or rather dot on your foundation the way that I did here. Reason being, some foundations are matte, some are dewy, different foundations, different formulations. I don't know how quickly you blend out your foundation, or generally how quickly you work with your makeup. So if you're not quick enough, your foundation could start drying down while you're blending, and it's just going to create a very patchy foundation blend. So I would make sure to show you guys the proper way to apply it moving forward. I'm just making sure to blend the foundation out using tapping motions, and I'm not dragging. Also, you don't have to drag your foundation all the way under your eyes because you're still going to apply your concealer there anyway. So just make sure to take your time and blend out the foundation until you have a seamless, even blend. It's also very important that you blend your foundation, or rather apply your makeup in good lighting so you can see very well and just see the imperfections and correct them as you go. And today I actually used way less concealer than I normally would, and it wasn't planned. But I know I did mention that since I started using less concealer, I've started seeing way better results with my makeup in terms of longevity and how it wears throughout the day. I mentioned in a previous tutorial that my favorite cream contour product, which is the Makeup Revolution concealer, was almost exhausted. So I switched to this Morphe contour stick, which I really like. It's a little bit harder to blend just because this is an actual cream and not like a liquid concealer like the previous one was. But you just need to apply a little bit extra arm strength and you'll be fine. I love how it shows up on my skin and how pigmented it is even after I blend it out. I also love that the undertone is not too cool, it's just perfect. So yeah, I really like this. I would definitely repurchase this, and I think it really compares in quality to the Makeup Revolution one that is finished. If I see that one, I would still buy it, but I'm content with how this one performs. I always blend out my contour before my concealer because it just gives that concealer some extra time to sit and dry down, which helps with the coverage. I'm going to start blending out my concealer, and normally when I blend out my concealer, I blend out everywhere else and blend under my eyes last. So I'm just going to take my time with this, and when I'm blending, I also work interchangeably with my foundation brush, which is the same brush that I use for my contour. So it just helps everything melt into each other as I go and just make sure that there's no harsh lines. When blending out the concealer under my eyes, sometimes I'll blend the concealer on the extreme end of my eyes first before going and blending the inner part of the eye. But today I decided to blend the inner parts first. So I blended from the inner part of my eyes upwards. Sometimes I'll do it the other way around. It doesn't matter, it will still give me the same results. I always like to blend it upwards because I like that very lifted look, and I'm going again with my contour brush. Now, for my reverse contour, I'm not going in with any extra concealer or any extra product on the sponge. I'm just using what's left from initially blending out all the concealer from the other parts of my face. Today, I'm trying out a new powder in my collection, which is this Huda Beauty setting powder in the shade Cinnamon Bun. Now, this powder is a very hyped up powder, and I really like it, but I think I still need some time to play around with this to finalize my thoughts on the powder. But for now, I think I'm still tilting towards my RCMA no color powder, and the reason is because that powder is a translucent powder. Recently, I haven't been really gravitating towards my brown powders, and I think the reason is because I use a lot of bronzer and blush, and those are already warm. Plus, a brown powder also has a very warm undertone. So sometimes it just makes it all too warm and everything is just too red. But I feel like the translucent powder balances the makeup out a little bit better. This Sephora microsmooth powder is also new to my collection. I feel like a lot of people did not realize the fact that Sephora extended the shade range for the microsmooth powders. Up until recently, the darkest shade they had was 60 Ebony, which was too light. So when I found out that they extended the shade range, I picked up two, which were the two darkest shades, I think 80 and 85. And I like it as my all over face powder, and I'm still playing around with it. This Black Radiance palette, which is my tried, true, and tested palette, need I say more? This is amazing. Pigmentation, 100. It's just amazing. Now for my blush, I'm going in with these two Juvia's Place blush palettes, volume 1 and volume 2, which is the one that I use as my lead color for my eyeshadow. And you guys, the pigmentation is insane. I've actually never used this color as my blush. When I started this look, I didn't have anything specific planned out. I didn't know the direction it was headed. But once I did the eyes, it pretty much set the tone for the look. I knew I wanted all the pink I could get. So I decided that I was going to do like a very pink blush, but I was also trying to be careful not to be too heavy handed. Now, when it comes to doing my under eyes, there's just something about doing a contrasting color at the bottom of your eyes, and there's just something about pink and green that is just so fantastic. Like, it just makes the eyes pop more. Pink and green just look so beautiful, like they go so beautifully well. I just ran some black liner in my waterline, and I'm just going to start coating my lashes from top to bottom in preparation for my lashes that I'm going to be fixing on later on. I always coat my lashes with mascara first before going in to put on my lash glue on my lashes, because that just gives the mascara time to dry. When I'm applying my lashes, I take my mirror all the way down, so that way I'm looking down into the mirror and it helps me see my lash line better, so it's easier for me to just put on the lashes. After making sure it's in place, I'm going to go in with my fingers just to press my natural lashes together with the lash, so there's no demarcation. There's just something lashes do. They just take the look to 100. You can already see here how that eye that has the lash looks very lifted, and you can see how it looks together. Now I'm just going to start prepping my lips for my liner. I'm using this one from Juvia's place. It has a pinky, mauvey, purpley undertone. So I'm just going to overline my lips like I normally would. I'm going to start from my cupid's bow and then connect it to the ends of my lips. I'm also going to run it at the bottom, and then I'm just going to fill it in a little bit before going in with this Huda Beauty liquid lipstick. I'm going to go with this in the inner portions of my lips, but I'm still going to top it up with the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade London. And then I lost the footage of me applying my glosses. I think we all know how to apply glosses, sort of, so you wouldn't really be able to see where I was applying it, but you could see where I was like reiterating each color and just making sure like they were blending into each other and it was just seamless. I love glosses so much. Like, I cannot overly emphasize how much I love glosses. And you can just see me here beginning to feel myself. I was really feeling the look, it was just really, really giving everything it was supposed to give and more. Period. Now I'm going in with this Color Pop highlighter, and I almost never reach for this, but it was just perfect for this particular look. As you can see, it's like a very pink iridescent color. I'm going back in with my microsmooth powder to set all over my face. I felt like at this point I had lost a lot of the blush, so before I stepped out after filming the tutorial, I added a little bit of extra blush to the look. At this point, I was a bit irritated and impatient because this Morphe continuous setting mist for some reason would not spray. It seemed like the nozzle was jammed. I don't know what was jamming it, but I tried everything literally possible. This would not spray. So I decided to leave this because I was already running late and I just didn't have time to fight with it anymore, and moved on to my Charlotte Tilbury airbrush flawless finish setting spray, which is also new to my collection. I plan to actually launch the two today, so I wanted to use the Morphe one first to melt the whole makeup and then use this to seal everything in, because I've heard a lot of good things about the Charlotte Tilbury one, and it actually did hold my makeup in place a little longer than it normally would. But when I eventually do my video on like the new makeup products in my collection, you guys are going to have an earful because I have a lot to complain about. So guys, we've come to the end of the tutorial. So this is the finished look. What are you thinking? Let me know what you think about this look in the comment section. But yes, this is how it turned out. I'm obsessed. Also, like, you guys, let's have a little commotion for the hair. It's so pretty, I know, right? Yeah, but these were darling extensions in the numbers 350 and 30, so they mixed them together to achieve this kind of ginger brown reddish color. Also, let me know if you have any video suggestions or video ideas you'd like to see me do. And like always, any concerns you have about your makeup, drop them down in the comment section and I will definitely respond to them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, see you guys in my next one. Bye.